Welcome to today's NSK Podcast, where we speak to Dr Ghassan Radi, the founder of Smile Again Dentistry, a dental charity dedicated to improving oral health and well-being across the world. Here, Dr Radi talks about the essential work he and his team have been doing in Sierra Leone, West Africa, creating a dental support network that impacts positively on local communities and brings sustainable solutions to long-standing dental problems. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your dental background?
I've lived in the UK virtually all my life, since I was about 2 years old. I qualified from Cardiff Dental School back in 1998. I've always had an interest at the back of my mind of doing this kind of over and above general dentistry, just actually going out and help people. And that took a kind of a back seat for a while, sort of growing up professionally and family and everything. I ventured out with regard to these kind of activities. I went to Morocco and I did some screening of children in Agadir, in the kind of outskirts of Agadir. And I got my first taste of red tape and obstacles, shall we say. So I went, so there was a few visits to Agadir and nothing really came out of it. But that got people aware of my intentions. And one day, one of my patients, a reverend in Ealing from Sierra Leone, reached out to me and said, listen, there's a medical mission going on. This was back in 2000, and it must have been about 5 years ago. And they don't have a dentist. And would you like to sort of tag along? And I said, yeah, sure, I'll tag along on the condition that I don't have to deal with any red tape. Yeah, so I met a gentleman called Charles Senese. He was head of the mission, and yeah, true to his words, I went over there. They just go to different parts of Sierra Leone, to different district hospitals, and the units they have there. I mean, basically they're medics, so the units are already established to some degree, like surgery theaters, obs and gynae, acute medicine, they're all there, and they go and they assist and exchange skills and whatnot. In my case, there's no dental units in Sierra Leone in most of the hospitals. In fact, there's no dentists. There's about 10, 15 dentists, and they're just running private practices in Freetown. So I went over there, and after about a couple of missions, I kind of established a template of going to a district hospital and the rest of the team leaving me to my own devices. I take equipment with me and I set up a dental unit for them for urgent dental care, i.e. Administering anesthetic and pulling teeth out, basically. Train up healthcare workers, and eventually those healthcare workers go on to become dental therapists and run the units. And we stay in contact on a daily basis on WhatsApp.
So do you take the equipment and leave it there, or do you travel, do you take it backwards and forwards with yourself?
Yeah, the majority of the equipment is left there. It's the first time now that this last trip is the first time I've actually brought certain equipment back, i.e. the mobile delivery unit from which NSK kindly loaned me, and a couple of other pieces. That's just additional services I can provide while I'm there. But predominantly it's about taking luxators, forceps, a local anesthetic, etc., getting the healthcare workers trained up to safely administer and leaving the equipment there. And then not just leaving it there, making sure that, when they run out of consumables or when some of the hand instruments wear out, that I'm able to support them.
So you said that this was your fourth visit, I think, your fourth mission to Sierra Leone. What's the sort of reaction that you get from the local people when you arrive?
So with every mission, there's a kind of protocol we have to follow, yeah? Like it or not, we have to follow this protocol. And part of that protocol is having to go and meet all the ministers and, the so-called people of kind of importance, yeah? Which takes up a few days. And then only then we can kind of move on to the actual outskirts. So when I used to go tag along with the rest of the guys to the ministries, I kind of, for the first couple of missions, I kind of got a sense of they were just maybe not tolerating me, but just being kind of polite and courteous, not very interested. However, on my third mission, it looked like that word must have got around to the fact that it's not a case of just another feather in my cap. I was actually creating something that was sustainable People were being trained up and people were actually running the units that I had started. So I saw a very different approach towards me when we went into those meetings. It went from a case of, oh yeah, nice, nice of you to come, to listen, we've heard what you're doing and we just want you to do it again. If you need our support, let us know. A complete 180-degree change, which was really, you kind of felt appreciated. Because it's always very delicate when you come to these situations, because you don't want to undermine, you don't want to come across as patronizing, yet you still want to do something which is has long-term benefits. So it's like anything in life. It's all about diplomacy, isn't it? Just trying to hit the right note, get your message across, and get people on side.
So what was your connection with NSK in regard to these missions? And I believe that they gave you or loaned you the Viva Ace, the mobile dentistry system.
Yeah, correct. So I was looking at lots of units when I started this venture, and especially when I started the homeless campaigns I do back here in the UK. I thought a mobile unit would be essential. The NSK one, from the ones I looked at, I mean, there's not that many on the market, but the NSK one was came across as very robust. And at the time, it was just a question of finance, which prevented me from buying one. But fortunately, I think someone must have seen me on, I think it was the BBC or something, and reached out to me and said, listen, you're doing all this work from NSK, you're doing all this work, and we're more than happy to support you. And that's how that partnership or that relationship came about. And they said, just take it, use it where you need to use the unit, and we'll service it and we'll keep the thing running, and you just make sure you keep using it. And it worked out really, really nice. Really
wow,
well.
That's fantastic. So has that brought you more in the way of dental treatment, particularly in remote locations and things? I mean, does it mean that you can treat rather than just extract all the time?
Yeah, 100%. It kind of brought things home on the third trip where I didn't have the unit. We started to focus a lot on the school children, because some of the adult cases we had seen were beyond help. I mean, there were people walking into the dental unit with osteonecrosis, advanced stages of, septicemia, advanced stages of, and these guys were terminal. Definitely terminal, because there's no kind of infrastructure back there to support situations like this. And, even if these cases were in the UK, they'd be very difficult to treat, So that made us focus on the kids, because most of these cases, once upon a time, started off as tooth decay, which has progressed. And there's always cases that sort of linger in your memory, and you think, oh, I wish I had this, or I wish I had that. And it was this head girl from a local school, and she'd come and she had a decayed canine. Otherwise, all her teeth were very nice and very straight. And, at the time, it was causing her pain. So it needed treatment. And the only treatment I could have provided was to extract the tooth. So we ended up extracting a tooth. And obviously, visually, that was upsetting. If I had a unit like the delivery unit, it would have taken me, half an hour, 45 minutes to resolve the issue.
Mm.
Root canal, composite filling, we're all good. And as a result, when I took the machine over, the dental officer, actually, when I say the dental officer, the one that I trained up, or one of the ones I trained up, he had some broken front teeth, and we were able to fix them.
Gosh.
And being a dental officer, the least we can do is make his teeth look nice.
Did somebody train you on the Viva Ace, or?
Yeah, it's very straightforward. I mean, one of the chaps from NSK came over a few days before the mission. We just went through everything, and it was very straightforward.
So what's your long-term plan regarding Sierra Leone? Is it something you're going to keep returning to? You're planning more visits?
Yeah, so there's a few things in the pipeline. Sierra Leone, we've got 7 million people in a relatively small country, right? So although the roads aren't all tarmacked, even the dirt, the dirt roads, or whatever, the dirt tracks, whatever you want to call them, they're still accessible apart from certain times in the rainy season. So the idea is we carry on going to these district hospitals and create a network of dental units across the country with a network of dental therapists, and we all communicate together and share ideas between themselves, between them and me, and also between them and my colleagues in the UK. That's one thing that's been ongoing for a few years. And hopefully within the next 5 years, we should have enough dental units in hospitals so that everyone in Sierra Leone is less than 2 hours away from accessing a dentist. I mean, to be honest, for Sierra Leone, that's not bad. The other project which we're planning to do, there's a couple, we're planning to actually employ directly from here oral health promoters. We'll train them up and they'll go around the schools with oral health advice, which is kind of customized for that area. And the last project we're going to do, and it's all focusing on kids getting prevention in place, getting early diagnosis and treatment in place to avoid those advanced stages we've seen of necrosis and septicemia and other nasty little things like that, or big things like that. So the last project we're doing is we are liaising with the head teachers, the established dental units and they are going to liaise with me. So it's going to be like a triage. And they will say, the donations we're receiving, part of the donations we're receiving, we will finance those guys to be seen by the dental officers that we've trained up and just have that situation going on throughout the whole year.
We would like to thank Ghassan for his time today and sharing his experiences of working in Sierra Leone with us. If you would like any further information about NSK UK, the Viva Ace mobile dentistry unit, and the range of other equipment that NSK has to offer, please visit mynsk.co.uk.